impossibly low quality of Jimmy Fallon's show actually explains pretty neatly the decline of our culture. Here's how. Now, I know that thesis sounds a little crazy. He's Jimmy Fallon, everybody loves him, and besides, how could the story of our culture be wrapped up in the fall of a comedian? Here's what I mean when I say that. Jimmy Fallon used to be the kind of comedian that purposefully appealed to everyone. He was America's jester. He may not have been your cup of tea if your comedic preferences or your comedic taste is a little bit edgier. That's perfectly fine. But he was palatable to a lot of people, and he did a good job at it. Mass media is dying because we're all splintering into niches. Stephen Colbert is the #1 rated, the most watched host in late night television, despite the fact that he does a show that really only appeals to one niche: anti-Trump boomers. His humor is so bad, but if you're tuning into late night to get your dose of anti-Trump's comedy, anti-Trump commentary, perhaps with a comedic kick or an attempted comedic kick, Colbert's your guy. All he had to do was narrow in on that market and corner it. That's all he had to do, was to build a dedicated audience in that niche. And he's winning that late night competition. Because again, you don't need the ratings that Johnny Carson put up in 2020 to be the top-rated host in late-night television. You just need to do the best with the biggest niche. And in the Trump era, these comedians discovered that anti-Trump comedy was a great niche. It was a loyal niche. These people will come back every single night and they will watch you. Of course, activist comedy that is just insistently anti-Trump before it is anything else, is never funny. It's never funny. It's like a comedy. It's like a stand-up show at the DNC summer convention, right? Like it's never going to be funny. It's always going to be lame because it always has a partisan goal. And comedy isn't funny unless it's honest. That's why we love comedy. So when you have a partisan goal, when you have activist comedy, not only does it narrow the creative mind of the people tasked with writing it and performing it, that would be Fallon's writer's room, and Colbert's writer's room, and Kimmel's writer's room, and Sam B's writer's room. By the way, Sam B was great on The Daily Show, had a devolution over the Trump era. But again, what it does is it narrows the sort of creative boundaries that you're working with, and it also constricts you to the sort of partisan boundaries. It's not honest, and it's not funny. Jimmy Fallon, again, in the era of mass media that beloved performers like Johnny Carson thrived in, people had to appeal to everybody. If you're Johnny Carson, you need to appeal to the biggest swath of the population as you possibly can, because people can't choose to flip over to Netflix or Hulu or HBO Max or Disney Plus or, oh my gosh, which ones haven't I named? There are so many. Peacock. I forgot about Peacock. How could I forget about Peacock? Quibi, may it rest in peace. We have so much competition now. By the way, instead of watching Fallon, you could watch clips of Johnny Carson on YouTube, and you could do that for days without running out. You could watch other comedies that aren't even late night shows on all of those platforms. There are 1,000 channels. In addition to all of the streaming networks, every television show that has ever existed is at the tip of everybody's finger every single night. So the competition is immense. And that's going to change more and more as the people who grew up watching late night television with that appointment television that was late night, less and less. You can tell that in the ratings. These shows are watched by a lot of boomers and a lot of older people. Now, shows like Fallon and Colbert and Kimmel do really well online, right? Like we all see James Corden, a lot of these clips go mega viral. So they do still have some and this will increase. They still do have some incentive to appeal to a lot of people. But even virality, though the name sounds like it has to go viral among a mass quantity of people, sure it does, but to make money, these networks don't need their clips to be super mega viral so that everybody in the country sees it. They just need to do really well. And that again can be making sure that they got around to, that the biggest possible niche, the fans of Harry Styles, making sure that you're getting clips that are circulating there. This is how you do it. It's so different. And what that means for our culture is that we have the splintering of everything. And it means that less and less, we have fewer and fewer platforms, performers, programming, fewer and fewer of those things that appeal to what unites all of us.